welcome to this week's edition of Shaynel's 3 Cents, where I'm your host, Shaynel Caldwell, the founder and executive director of Our Blended Families. Again, hosting our weekly show, Shaynel's 3 Cents, where I provide you a little bit of info about how I feel about current events and also provide you some information, education, and hopefully some resources that can help guide you to promote yourself, increase yourself, edify everything that you would like to, make things better, and improving upon society, and of course your local and immediate community. So first off, we're going to get started not only by saying lots of things going on. You guys know I always want to say everything that's going on connected to 45 and everything that's connected to our local and federal politics. If you're going to be in the DMV this weekend, particularly on Sunday, stay inside. It's going to be hot. That's all I'm going to say about that. Stay inside on Sunday. Don't go downtown or do anything like that. But be informed. Make sure whatever your favorite media outlet is, make sure you're watching, make sure you're staying in tune, and making sure you are keeping your community and your family safe and away from any possible nonsense that might be going on. So again, that's all we're going to say about that. One of the things that also strike near and dear to me is finance now. We know that most of us go to work every day, and if you don't work, maybe you're retired or you work in a different industry where you might be self-employed, and or you may be in between jobs and picking up temporary assistance. Whatever the case may be, you know about money. You know about where your money goes. You may not pay too much attention to where that money goes, but you want to be mindful of, I'm broke, how did I get there? Or I have money and I'm balling, where's my money going and how can I make more of it? So again, this is something new for Shaynel, so we'll be talking about this religiously, literally on every show a little bit here and there, because it's very important for us, particularly now because there's so many volatile things going on in the stock market, so many things going on in our communities regarding tariffs. I know those of you that don't keep in touch with things going on in the news, but the impact of these new tariffs that our president has instituted is actually going to affect your pocket. It's going to affect when you go out to restaurants and you're looking for items that they don't sell because the farmers can't get it here in the U.S. And oh, guess what? They can't afford to bring it over from another country. Same thing, his favorite beverage, Coca-Cola. Guess what? They're increasing their prices because they can't afford to make those cans. Why? Because they import them elsewhere. So again, these are things that we need to be aware of, where your money is going and how lack of money and or an abundance of money can affect your life. So we want to be mindful of that. And keeping with such, I'm really happy to say, and I apologize that I wasn't able to get the video up this time, but I have a childhood friend that I grew up with, my foster sister, elementary, junior high, high school connect. Her name is Mahisha Dillinger. She has a new show on one of my favorite networks, the OWN network. Her show is called Mind Your Business with Mahisha, where she shares her story, and she also helps small businesses, help them to grow and improve upon their business base. There's a lot of humor. I've seen some of the previews and the sequels, so please check her out, Mind Your Business with Mahisha. The debut is going to be this Saturday, tomorrow, August 11th, and I believe it's on 9 Central, so for those of you that are in the DMV, I believe it's going to be coming on 8 o'clock. So again, please pay attention and follow into how to mind your business. And when we come back from our break, we're going to bring on my first very special guest, Miss Montina Vital, and she's going to talk about ways that you can increase your personal finance, make sure that you can secure your personal finance. Oh, and by the way, check and make sure you know where your money's going. So again, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Friday afternoon to Shaynel's 3 Cents, and we'll see you back right after this break. Okay, thank you so much for taking that short break with us. Now that we're back, I'm introducing once again my special guest today, Miss Montina, which we refer to her as Amma Vital. Say
yes.
Hey. Hey. So again, I'm very happy to have met you.
Yes, yes,
my
yes.
Who can help me spend my money. I mean, save my money
yes,
and all that good
money.
stuff.
That's right. Save your money.
If you could start off introducing yourself, not only to our audience, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came into the finance industry. How about that?
That's perfect. As Shaynel said, my name is Montina Vital, but I go by Amma. Okay, I love to be called Amma. It is a day name. I was born on Saturday, so it's very special to me. I'm an engineer by trade, and how I kind of got into finances is a friend of mine. He came and told me, hey, Amma, you need to come and check this out. You know, with the way you think and the way you process, you need to come and check this out. So I was like, okay, let me go and give it a shot. The information that I found was like eye-opening. I could not believe that all this knowledge has surpassed me some kind of way. You know, I'm an engineer. I've worked for Boeing. I did some government contracting, graduated from Tuskegee. I have plenty of friends, and I'm just sitting here saying, oh, my goodness, if I didn't know all this information about different finance sources, then I'm sure my friends and family and people didn't know. And, in fact, they didn't. So it was just like eye-opening. The things that can be done to benefit the beneficiary of the saver, you know, people who are trying to save. So I dug in. I became licensed, so I'm a licensed professional.
Hey.
And I'm always looking to become educated on things. Things are changing. There's new ways of doing things, and there's old ways. And a lot of us, somehow we like to hold on to the old ways for certain things, but not all things.
Right,
so that's
right.
why I'm so passionate about trying to get the word out about the new way of using your finances wisely to benefit you in the end. So, yeah.
I know you and I were discussing the other night about how, as a culture for African Americans, how we spend our money. And there was
Yes.
I was looking at some of this information from the Bureau of Vital Statistics about how African Americans have spent their money and the spending trends that we have from the 1900s.
Yes.
And for those of you that remember, of course, as we came out of the bowels of slavery and were able to attain better jobs outside of farming, even though that was still a good industry at the time.
Yes.
But making sure that now that we have money, what are we doing with that money? So it wasn't so much that we were taught then to save your money,
Right.
because there was still that kind of, are you going to get 40 acres and a mule, or are you going to get a cotton leaf, or, you know, something like that?
Yes.
But how most of us wasted our money because we were so happy to have it.
That's right. That's right.
And so, again, in the streets with our fancy carriages and our fancy camisoles and umbrellas when, you know, you didn't need it. But, again, I think we still see some of those same trends about people being wasteful of their money.
Absolutely. One of my favorite, Booker T. Washington, as I was sharing with you the other day, in his book, Up From Slavery, he made a comment as he was traveling from Hampton, Virginia to the D.C. area that he noticed that the people here, and particularly African Americans here, they had more of a wasteful mentality, if you will. They would work their whole paycheck, and then that week that they got paid, they could not wait to go get a carriage ride down Pennsylvania Avenue. And if you look around today, you still see that. There's nothing wrong with having fine things. Absolutely, we deserve those.
Absolutely.
But it's the way that we acquire them that's the problem. It's not the having of them, but it's the way that we acquire them. And so that's the things that I like to kind of share with. There are ways to have those things and have it be beneficial to you at the same time. One of the things I found out, and I do a lot of reading and researching, and I can't say that I do it all on my own. My husband, he's a PhD. He helps me a lot. He brings a lot of information to me and say, hey, I found this. Check it out. You know, what do you think about it? So I have to give credit to Olakwesu, Jonathan Vital, PhD. He does a lot of research, and he helps me a lot. But one of the things he brought to me was a video that I found very interesting. And it pretty much started off talking about Vanderbilt and Rockefeller. Okay, so this is back, you know,
some of the billionaires,
the old money that runs the world. Okay, not the country, the world. Okay, so what
I think my mama generation trickled on me. We know Gloria and her genes.
So what was revealed is that Vanderbilt actually died with $101 million at the time. That's a lot of money. That's like, from then to now, it's like trillions of dollars. He actually had more money than Murray Rockefeller. That's the founding father of the Rockefeller family. He had more money than him when he died. But what happened to the Vanderbilts, of course, they have the Vanderbilt University. He gave $1 million to the school. That's how the school acquired the name Vanderbilt. And he gave the other $100 million to his family. Unfortunately, his family didn't do as well as the Rockefeller family did, because they literally do not have the wealth that was given to them.
Bequeathed to them.
Rockefeller, on the other hand, everyone knows the Rockefeller for what? The banking system.
World
That's
banking system.
very, very important, because what Rockefeller did with way little money, he set up a family banking system. So we're thinking, where's she going with this? Well, he set up a family banking system. So now what the Rockefeller started was a banking institution that today runs the world. Everybody knows the Rockefeller for having so much. They have so much money, they don't even know how many trillions of dollars this family has. So what he did was set up a banking system. Very simply, he took the money, he instituted a family banking system. One of the products that was used is insurance. Okay, insurance. Insurance was the product that helped Rockefeller, Murray Rockefeller, not John D., but Murray, get his family's banking system started. So they would have family reunions where they would bring all the Rockefellers together. And for purchases of homes and cars and things like that, they all contribute to the banking system. They all borrowed money from the home banking system that was gaining interest, and they all had to pay back. Once you did, if you defaulted on a loan and you didn't carry out you went. He didn't have time. You didn't have the best interest of the family, so you were not able to participate in that banking system. Today, so many of us, because society has kind of branded this as norm, when our children turn 18, what do we say? Well, listen, time to go. I did my job. You graduated from high school. You on your own. But that's kind of backwards, because here's the thing. If one household has household bills and they're struggling, then you created another household that possibly will need help. So now you're taken away from a hub. I'm here to kind of challenge you on that. Let's look at it a different way.
Okay, let me interrupt you for a moment, because it certainly bears repeating that Mr. Rockefeller, Maya Rockefeller, again, noting the difference between the two, they instituted a family banking system.
Yes.
And when she said family, this isn't his co-workers,
No.
his business partners. These was his
Blood.
immediate family, his blood. And
Yes.
you all know how we do fam. We have our family reunions once a year.
Yes.
Some folks have it every other year or
Yes.
something like that. But they came together
Yes.
to discuss money
Yes.
and how they were going to make this money grow and invest their money
Yes.
as a family.
Yes. Yes, as a family. Bloodline family. Not the, my best friend and they like family. No, blood.
Cousin, they,
Yeah,
this is
right.
all blood family. We are coming together to
Blood
discuss
family.
money.
So you can see from that institution that he set up what's going on today. So part of
that is, as we said earlier, the World Banking System.
Yes.
There's this rumor that borderlines extremely close to fact about who's running the world.
Yes.
And it's based upon the World Banking System, which
Right.
we are talking about, again, Mr. Rockefeller.
The old money. Let's just call it the very old money. The old money. And Murray Rockefeller and the Rockefeller estate, if you will, has a big stake in that. A huge, huge stake in that.
Okay. Well, let me
sure.
take you in another direction.
Sure.
Of course, recent news, we talked about LeBron James helping to not only help his community, but putting his own personal money
Yes.
into building a school in his
Yes.
hometown of Cleveland.
Yes.
And so we had a lot of commentary on social media. Oh, well, he's doing this
Yes.
money. This is great. But, oh, he should take this money and send it here, and he should do this. That's his money. He can do what he wants with his money. Now, mind you, he acquired his money through his job.
Yes.
Because he is an athlete.
That's his job.
Now, because there are so few of us that are probably going to make his money, are there other ways that simple people like myself
Yes. There
can
is.
actually make some money and actually leave something to my kids so
Right.
that maybe their kids might have some
Sure.
money?
So one of
Other
the
than
things
my dad. student loan.
Stop. So that's a great question, and thank you, because that's really the root of what I am doing. It's showing everyday average, if you will, middle America, how to make wise choices when it comes to expanding their financial wealth. We need to dispel the myth that insurance is only for when we die. So all I need insurance for is to make sure that when I'm dead, I can be cremated, which, or I can be put to rest. But you're leaving so much behind. The first thing you leave behind is your children. You're leaving them behind with having to start over, with having to take care of your assumed debts, because they just don't disappear when you die. Okay, they don't just vanish.
People think
they do not. So you're leaving your children with a hefty financial burden when there's something you can do before that. Let's just say on average, the average working middle America are saving into their 401ks. That's one of the ways that most people have been informed to save for later years. Okay, well, your 401k is only going to do one thing. That's going to give you some type of financial savings. But then there's the other part that goes along with needing to have security, and that's the insurance. So your 401k can only do one thing. What if I can show you a product through insurance, one of the longest standing, most secure entities in America? Okay, that's how they got their wealth, through insurance. So you can research everything I'm saying. Insurance will never fail. Okay, Warren Buffett, in fact, owns a insurance company, Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, it's an insurance company, and you just look up some of these other wealthy people. They have their money securely sitting in insurance. Okay, so with that being the case, let's just say an average 45-year-old female. Okay, making,
that would be me.
In the like I said, category of 45 years old, you can take comfortably $200 to $250 per month. Okay, secure yourself with a living benefit should something happen to you. And I know everyone viewing and listening knows someone, or knows someone who knows someone who's been diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke. And I'm not talking about old people. I'm talking about 20 years, barely 20 and up. Okay, this stuff is happening on a recurring basis. So if we can secure that for you, as well as grow a savings account that, check this out, gives you security against losing your principal. Okay, you know the principal that you put in to get started, and when the stock market goes down, your principal goes down. It's all great when the stock market is doing well, but what happens when it doesn't? You do not get security from your principal. What if I told you such a product exists?
Okay, hold tight. The 401k, most of middle America knows about 401k, and I've heard so many people rave about, oh, I got this much money in my 401k, my 401k. I work in HR.
Do you
and,
now?
Yeah, that's going to be a no. So we're going to make sure that we're paying attention to how Alma's breaking this down, because as she also said, when it's up, everything is great when it's up.
Great.
But when it's down, where your money go? But your company still get to keep their money in their 401k.
So since she brought up 401k a little early, I'll just go ahead and give you some pointers to think about.
I get excited about that.
I know.
I'm still mad about that. You know, when you learn something and you realize, oh, I've been eating this cereal all my life, and I could have been getting it over here for this money.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do this.
So really quickly, like I said, 401k, since she brought it up, let me just kind of give you some pointers to think about, okay? Which they'll never tell you when you sign up. They just have the table, and everybody's friendly, and everybody's like, oh, come on, it's the 401k time. Don't you want to save for your future? Okay. So one of the things you have to think about, unless you're maxing out at $18,500, which is the limit this year, okay, you can look it up, you're going to find it very challenging to lower your tax bracket, because that's the number one thing. Invest in your 401k and lower your tax bracket. So you're going for the immediate right now. There's other ways to lower your tax bracket, trust me. So you're trying to lower the tax bracket. The average saver really don't even get to half of the amount, because they can't afford to, because wages haven't went up and inflation has. So on average, about $7,000 to $8,000 is the average commitment to a 401k. So
and mind you, that's annually, right?
That's annually.
So those are people.
That's a
If you're doing
long
$7,000, look, divided by 12 months, divided by two pyramids,
$150
look, 2 pay periods. You think you're doing big things by putting away $150.
Right, and you really are not in that vehicle. It's just the vehicle that you choose. So in that vehicle, it won't get you much. Okay. So now let's take that same $150. Okay, and then you got your company-sponsored insurance, which, by the way, people, is term insurance. That means you're renting that policy. You're renting it for the time that you're working for the employer. I know. There's a lot of government people here. I get it. They take great care of their employees. You have the best coverage. I know. I'm just here to tell you that if I was to let you talk to some of those people.
Is that through the TSP?
Yeah, yes, or the Fagley, But we won't get into that. But I just want you to be aware that that's not the best plan for what you want to accomplish, okay? So, but you have your $25, maybe $30 if you got your family covered on there. So between the two, you have $200 that you're trying to save for retirement and secure yourself, okay? What if I showed you a way that you can take that same money, okay? We're not talking about creating a new bill because most of us cannot afford
another bill.
I come to you talking about, girl, gone, bye, Felicia. That's just what you're going to tell me. But if I show you a way to reallocate, that's a new word we're going to focus on today. Reallocate. If I can show you a way to reallocate money that you have already committed to saving, and if I can show you how a product as solid as insurance, okay, can protect your principal, allow you to capture the upside gains of the market, okay? There's a difference.
No downside?
No downside.
So I can always make money.
Yes,
but
and
never
not
lose money.
It's legal. Trust me, it's legal. The people who have way more money than we can think of have been doing this since beyond the 50s. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been doing it for a very long time. We've been, I call it trinketry. They've been waving the trinkets in front of us, the Bentley keys and the what's it called, Maserati. See, I can't even pronounce that kind of stuff right now because that's not my focus, okay? I have a son that's 21, my husband and I, and I've coined this phrase, youth is to be monetized, not to be partied out. It's to be monetized. What do I mean? My son is younger than I am for about over 25 years. So since I have the knowledge of these insurance products, okay, I'm going to create my own banking system. Okay? When my son turns 25, he will have a product that uses 75% of the bank's money to front load his retirement. If you don't believe me, you need to get with me.
So they'll have 2/3 of somebody else's money.
Somebody else's
going to make him money.
Hello? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is stuff that has been going on for so long. Okay.
Well, what about the money that I have in my savings? I mean, the bank is giving me good interest. What I have on a savings, how much is that?
What good interest? 0.01%. Have you went to the bank lately and asked what the interest rate on a savings account is?
But so many of us think that we're so excited about our savings accounts, and then have a couple of different accounts that you're saving money in.
Right. Well, with that. Right. You might as well get you a Nike shoe box, cut a hole in your mattress, and basically put some money in the jar and hide it, because that's the same results you're going to get. You're not going to gain any money from the banks. The banks are not there to help you grow your money. They are a business, and they need your money to operate. So if you haven't figured that out yet, I advise you to go do some research. So keeping with the principle of the Rockefellers and creating your own family banking system. So, Shaynel, so now let's say you have $250 that you want to invest, okay? Oh, and this actually happened to you, if you don't mind me sharing.
Did it?
Yes.
Oh.
Shaynel came to me and she was just so excited.
Okay, wait, let me
sure.
I'm going to interfere real quick.
Sure.
And more importantly, because of the work that I do and the money that I make, look, I live in middle class America,
like us
and
all.
I allocate my money where it's supposed to go.
Yes.
I have my accounts, I have my little bit of savings, but my father passed last month. And so I had a little bit of money from his life insurance, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this money?
You didn't go buy a car? You didn't go to the shop, to the what is that, the harbor, and
and get decked out?
Get my bling bling and stuff?
Yes, you didn't do that? You know, that's common. You know, people die, they leave you money, boy, we go get fresh to death. You didn't do that?
Well, we did take 0.03% of it, and I gave the kids some money so they could splash a little bit and mourn their grandfather properly, at the mall and stuff like that. But again, it was just a small percentage.
Yes.
But again, it's a matter of, I have this money, what should I be doing with it? Because I don't want to squander it, because I know that's lucid. And I also know that I'm eyeing retirement, in the next 20 years.
Nobody wants to work forever or work until they die on the job. Okay? Nobody wants that. And nobody deserves that. We all deserve to have a very well-funded, relaxed retirement. We deserve that. We work hard. We deserve that.
Well, what about the money in my 401k? If I have, if I'm looking today, I'll probably have, I got about $10,000 in my 401k. What about when I take that out? Won't I still have $9,000 or $10,000?
No.
No?
You may have less. You may have more. Depends on how long and what's going on. How much?
And the IRS only takes a little bit of that, right?
No.
No?
That's the myth. The taxes that we know today are about 28%. The average person is paying about 28% taxes.
That's almost a third.
Yes. The myth is that, my income is going to reduce, so I'm going to be paying less taxes. No, you are not. Taxes, do we think taxes will go up in the next 10 years? That's the question.
Not if you're rich.
Okay, so what you're saying is that at the level that most people are paying taxes, 28% in this area is conservative because the salaries around here are a little bit padded, so 30%. Okay, people think I say that and they're like, no, I'm not. Go and check your records. Okay,
look it up.
So what happens, the myth is that, well, my income is going to be reduced, so I'm going to pay less taxes. Well, you know what the tax rate is right now. What is it going to be in 10 years or 20 years when you get ready to retire? There's a big question mark. You have no idea. So in actuality, you won't be paying the same taxes you're paying right now.
Well, even a third, that's still enough.
That's a lot.
Particularly, for a middle-class family.
And when you are looking to do what? Earn income. So 401k is a supplement. And we all know Social Security is just abysmal.
Think about it.
So, but people are trying to plan on having the Social Security as a supplement. Okay. So what I'm talking about.
Me rolling my eyes? Make sure that's picking up on camera.
So all I'm trying to give people I'm trying to wet your whistle, if you will, shake up what's in your head, get you to throw out the old, because everybody has a new cell phone. Everybody got a new cell phone. You upgraded that cell phone, and you probably can't wait till the next one come out. Why not look at your security vehicles, the things that you're banking on to take you through to retirement? When was the last time that you really took a good look from more than one perspective, meaning not just from the 401k perspective, and if you have a financial advisor, not just from the financial advisor perspective. There's people in the middle, like myself, between the financial advisor and the people at your job for the 401k. There I am in the middle. There's people like me that have product availability that your financial advisor will not know, and he will swear to the death. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
Well, who normally pays a financial advisor? Is he working on behalf of my benefit?
He's supposed to. Let's just say that. He's supposed to. But at the end of the day, if I only have one set of financial products that I am branded to market, that's what you're going to get. And I'll do whatever I need to do, or I'll help you to see that this is what you need versus something else, because I don't have that.
So it's basically what you're saying is you're part of a larger grocery store.
A larger grocery store. Yes, there are products out there, people, that can do wonders for our community. Prince George's County is one of the richest counties, one of the richest African-American affluent communities, and we're not looking at things quite right. Like I said, I have no problem with the bling and the nice cars. We deserve that. But what are you leaving for your children? Because that's very important. Legacy building. We hear that a lot. Legacy building. How do you do that? Winning a lottery ticket? Most people who, if they even win a lottery, do you know what to do with the money? You know, people that win the lottery that look like us, they're broke in 3 years. That is like crazy, you know. What do you know about annuities? What do you know about index universal life? Okay, as a matter of fact, oh my God, you know, it's just so much.
I think I know what you're
Yes,
saying.
but I'm just going to hold off on that. I won't get into that, but the lid is about to be blown off of IUL. That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah.
Keep
and I
your
think that
eyes
it's important.
peeled up.
It's important to note that you know, everything that you said is much like we say. Those of us that are on the educated side of the fence, look it up. Look it up for yourself. You know, if I tell you something, go look it up.
Yes.
You know, make sure that you can understand that I'm not just, you know, feeding you what I want to feed you, but all this information, knowing what you're paying in taxes every year, knowing what's going to happen to your 401k when you think you're going to retire and you're expecting to have some money that's not going to be there.
Or last you, people are living longer now. So you know that retirement money.
That's why Lucy's still at Walmart at 70-something years old.
No, I met a lady, I promise you, at the Wendy's checkout window. She was 82 years old. I had to ask her. I could not believe, ma'am, I mean no disrespect, but how old are you? Baby, I'm 82. I'm looking like, I just froze. And I'm like, okay. She says, I know. My retirement did not last me, and my Social Security supplement is not enough. And these are people that are not living lavish lives anymore. They have severely downgraded.
And incidentally, since we also talked about your companies, when you sign on, you're excited, you get your 401k, you get your term, like, oh, I got insurance through my job. That's term insurance. And you age out of term insurance, usually at 65 or 70. So if you're working and you think you have insurance through your company and you over 70, you don't.
So do me a favor, if you don't mind, share them your personal story and how you and I had to like calm you down, but
I'm still angry.
I know. But it's all a lesson though, because this is the thing. We're so sure of what we're not sure of.
We'll argue you down about what I have and what I really don't have.
I know.
Most of you know, because I share this all the time, I'm big on life insurance. And part of that starts with the way that I was raised and the way that I grew into making sure that, one, when I do die, because for a long time I was planning to die. And so I wanted to make sure when I'm gone, my kids at least need to be taken care of. So one, aside from, okay, when I do commit this act, I'm going to make sure it looks like an accident so, you know, my kids are still going to get paid. But I always make sure that I had something aside for my kids on my life insurance. So in times of being broke and being unemployed and being out on disability, if I didn't pay a phone bill, I was making sure I paid that life insurance.
Say that one more time.
If I didn't pay a phone bill, I paid the life insurance. If I didn't pay the electric company or I paid them half, I made sure the insurance people got their money because I wanted to make sure this money was growing for my children.
Absolutely.
And so, lo and behold, after I meet Miss Amma, I'm like, yeah, well, I have this with this company, and I've been paying into it for 17 years. So, yeah, this is how much money I have. And I could call her and ask her how much it has grown in cash value. So I'm going to challenge me to do that. And I'm head rolling and everything. You don't tell me about my money.
When she knows something, she knows something.
That's
so
right.
Like, okay.
I'm always right.
I said, well, just call, make a call. Just make sure you're sure.
And again, I am always right, except when I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, please let me know so I can correct myself and go back to being right. So, and that's what Amma did. I called that company, and they have told me that I had like $400 accumulated in this policy. I'm like, I mean, and I had to stop myself because I'm still a professional from cussing her out and going to her office and choking her. But it hurt my feelings to know that the money that I thought and the plan that I had set up was not necessarily set up that way. And so Amma's my new best friend, and I'm gonna get my money. I'm working to get my money.
Yes, but the other side of the coin to that is the person sent you a new quote.
Oh yeah, she said, "Oh, we can take care of that, Shaynel. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but although you have this, we can convert it and make it to the plan that you want and the plan that you really need." I'm like, "Okay, well, good. How much is that?"
It's only gonna cost you
$675 a month.
Yes, $675 a month.
On account of I didn't have that, I called Amma back.
Yes, and she didn't take anything less. Let's be clear. What she got was actually more. Okay, the coverage was for $250,000 of coverage, life, death benefit, and I mean that death benefit, meaning Shaynel could not have done anything with that money herself. It was only going to be for her,
For the children.
for the children, with that policy. With the new way of buying insurance,
The new insurance.
you can take that same $250,000 coverage, but guess what it costs you now? A little over $200. Okay, and
Which is what I was paying anyway.
right, for the stuff that didn't give you anything.
For peanuts.
So now you take that and you grow it once the cost of insurance is paid for. Now you have a savings account that's secured your principal, and it grows using a strategy called indexing. It indexes against.
Indexing.
Yes, that's a word. You guys need to be going to sleep, waking up. You need to eat, sleep, and do everything. You need to learn about indexing. So what it does is take the indexing, which is a strategy that the insurance company use, and they actually index against one of the strongest markets, the S&P 500. So where now there's no money being directly invested into the market, that's how you don't have any loss. Okay?
Again, winning only, losing never.
Right. So you may not gain any interest, but you sure ain't going to lose anything
When the markets go down.
when the markets go down. Okay? So that is very important. So you don't have to have a lot of money. You just need to do something smart with the money that you do have. Okay? And insurance nowadays, so you don't have to worry about being the most unselfish purchase you'll ever make. We know all the taglines. Today's insurance, IUL, the proper insurance, okay, can be beneficial. We call it living life insurance. Insurance you don't have to die to use. People get sick before they die, and they get sick sometimes for a long time. So you need to find out about IUL. Okay.
All right. And to kind of sum that in, because I know we have a couple minutes left, we're going to make sure that our audience is able to get in touch with you.
Okay.
So that you can further discuss this. But
Sure.
as she mentioned, the living benefit, where I don't have to die to use it, that while it will be there for my kids at the face amount that I put in, but if something happens to me, if I get sick, I don't have to call on my employer. I don't have to call on the government to say, well, can you send me some money to help me take care of this if I get...
They don't call that. You know what they do. Come on. It's called
GoFundMe.
Fund me.
That's a new insurance.
That's
But I can actually use it
Yes.
myself to take care of whether or not I have cancer or any other disabilities I can pick. I can have that money. Oh, and still have the life insurance.
Yes.
Oh, and or if I want to go buy a new house.
Yes.
Or a new condo. Or if I
Yes.
want to take a trip.
Yes.
I need some money. Where can I get some money from? Oh, in my
and I
own
forgot
account.
one important thing. Tax-free from your insurance policy.
Hallelujah.
There's no taxes when you take money from your insurance policy. It's not like the 401k where you're going to get taxed. Same
At that
IRS,
28%, a third of your
or whatever it is. The IRS wrote the same IRS wrote the codes for insurance policies, and they wrote the codes for 401ks. 401ks benefit the employer.
your bosses, which is why they encourage you to join.
Some of them have made it mandatory that you participate for at least 6 months. I've ran into so many people. Even the nonprofit organizations are making it mandatory because the tax write-off that they get, they can't afford to lose them.
Again, it's the benefit for the employers.
Your
the companies.
insurance has a whole different set of rules, and one of them is tax-free withdrawals. So if you have $300,000 accumulated in your savings side of your insurance policy, yes, you can take it out with no taxes. Okay?
No taxes. And I can still leave that money to my kids.
You can still leave the money to
It's
the
a
kids.
win-win.
Oh, and the other thing I forgot before we go, lifetime income. Life insurance
Wait,
has,
lifetime income, that means I have
Yes.
to work to get this?
Nope. That
No?
means your policy can be set up when properly structured. Okay, you can receive a lifetime income at the age that you want to retire. A supplemental income, depending on how you fund it, it can be a lot of money, or it can be just a supplement. But again, that money is untaxed. You know, Social Security is taxed. Y'all know that, right? So you get taxed on your Social Security. Over here on this insurance, there's no taxes. So there's a lot of benefits. You need to sit down with me or someone like myself very soon
make some changes to what you're doing, because it's time to flip what you're doing.
Time to stop being broke. Time to
Yes.
stop being broke and invest your money much more wisely.
Yes.
And I want to say thanks again. How can our folks get in touch with you?
The best way to contact me will be my cell phone. It is 301-653-8827. Or if they would like to email me, that is M as in Mary, my last name, Vital, dot enter, PENTERP at Verizon.net. My website is in the process of being built, so I haven't gotten it up yet, but it will soon be available.
And you all can also get in touch with her via
Yes.
Facebook. We
Yes.
tagged her on our post. And so please go out and connect with her and ask the questions.
Yes.
You know, you should, hopefully this has sparked some curiosity about
Yes.
how to better invest your money. Particularly, as she said, it depends on how much money you want to invest. If you're already putting the money in a 401k, you're already putting this money in your worthless savings account, again, where the bank is using it, or again, expecting it to come out later where your company is using it or the IRS is using it. It's a much better way. And again, it's completely legal. Everybody else is doing it. We just never knew.
Yes.
We just never knew. And
Yes.
again, and knowledge is power.
Yes.
And so as we close out, I also want us to be mindful that those of you know that I love my Lord, I love my folks in my church. The Bible says that a wise man stores up for his family. Okay, so one, you should be looking at how are you going to take care of your family when you're gone, because you're not going to live forever. And as Christians, we're always supposed to be looking at the future, because we're supposed to be living every day to make sure we can get to heaven. So we're already looking at the future as a heaven. So why don't you incorporate that into your money to make sure, again, that you can live off of it and that your family can be taken care of. Yes. So again, this will certainly be a repeating conversation where Amma will be coming back to discuss finances. You'll see a bit more information with the company that she's with, and also information that I'll be pushing out via my social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. But the goal is to make sure that we can do ourselves much better justice in taking care of ourselves with our own money.
Yes,
with our own money.
We can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So again, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Shaynel's 3 Cents. I want you to make sure that you go out and check out Mahisha Dillinger's new show coming out tomorrow on OWN, Mind Your Business with Mahisha. We also want to make sure that we give a big shout out to Crescendo Forever Entertainment for our new theme music here on Shaynel's 3 Cents. Again, we hope you like everything that we said, but if you don't like it, at least you heard it. We'll see you back next time.
Thank you.
welcome to this week's edition of Shaynel's 3 Cents. I'm your host, Shaynel Caldwell, founder and executive director of Our Blended Families. And again, I want to say welcome and thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. So before we get started on my news segment, which I'm very excited about, of course, I'm going to give you my 1, 2, 3 cents about what's been going on this week and how I feel about some of the activities. As you may know, I think that it's very important for us to get involved in our society, particularly the community events, because, again, what happens in the political realm ultimately trickles down and affects you at home wherever you are. And so I thought one of the most important things that stood out to me this week was the meeting of the black pastors that met with our awesome President Trump on Wednesday. Apparently, the meeting was supposed to be held, and it was a nice 45-minute meeting that was held at the White House, but the meeting was to be held to discuss prison reform. And those of you that look like me in particular understand that the importance of prison reform is completely understated. Why? Because most of the people that populate our prison system look like me. Now, mind you, most of them are male, but again, it's most of us, according to our population, that sit within the prison system. So whenever we talk about prison reform, we absolutely want to make sure that we have a seat at the table to make sure that we're having these conversations, not only with the people that are in power, but also within the people in our community, to let them know, hey, these are the things that you need to do to, one, avoid prison and or understand how you need to cope and get through the criminal justice system so that if you accidentally navigate your way in, you can navigate your way back out. So again, very important. And so while we were very ecstatic, those of us that heard about this meeting in advance by watching with that whatever media outlet you primarily are tuned into, we're kind of excited. And we also had that side eye because we're like, let's see what 45 is going to say and whether or not he's actually going to do anything, primarily because we also know that Jeff Sessions is his boy, our nation's top cop, the Attorney General, and all these programs ultimately will be handled by him. So apparently, as things kind of maneuver through, we kind of got a sense that, well, we didn't hear the pastors saying much. We didn't come to find out that there was an action plan on how to implement some of this prison reform. And while the folks that were there, the black pastors and ministers that were there, it was kind of deceitfully shown that our top pastors were not there. Al Sharpton wasn't there. Jesse Jackson wasn't there. So while it might have been viewed by some as, oh, he's looking at, new meat, new folks, as opposed to having the folks that actually have a platform on prison reform, specifically Al Sharpton, again, this kind of made you think, is this a photo op? Is he doing this or is he really helping us? So fast forward to Thursday and Friday, there's been a lot of reports within social media concerning whether or not the pastor should have gone there at all, whether or not it was merely a photo op opportunity for Trump to have his, hey, we got black people here that support me and black people that think that I'm awesome, and or, again, what really is his stance? And so on the left, we have our folks that are saying those pastors never should have went and talked to him in the first place. On the right, we also have our folks that are saying they should have had something to say. They should have allowed them a platform to go back and forth and actually have a real conversation as opposed to listening. Again, my 3 cents on the topic, you absolutely want to be there. This kind of resonates the same thing, the same kind of conversation that we had with Steve Harvey. When Steve Harvey had his conversation with Trump, you want to make sure that you're at the table because everything that happens at the table will ultimately be implemented. And if you're not seated at the table, you will ultimately be served by the people at the table. You don't know what's going to be on that platter. So one, I am glad that they went. I was kind of proud because I'm a Sacramento, California native. And one of the pastors that I knew and from my neighborhood, Pastor Phil Godot from Calvary Christian Center was there. And so, again, we're looking like, okay, is he going to represent? Is he going to say anything? Come to find out, they weren't letting him say anything. We also had Pastor John Gray, who had a nice presence from Relentless Church down in Greenville, South Carolina. But I think the most important kind of backlash / input came from Pastor Darrell Scott from Cleveland. For some strange reason, he was of the ideology that President Trump has done more for black people than any other president in history. And so if you were like me, you were kind of, excuse me? Okay. Because one, that's a no. Two, oftentimes we tend to think that people owe us things. If you look like me, you're definitely owed something, but you need to go get it. So I'm still kind of walking through that and trying to be prayerful because I'm really like, really, Pastor Scott, for real? And of course, he's seen on CNN. He's been on a couple other news networks trying to backpedal those statements. Well, what I really meant, and, he was probably doing a 45 number. Well, what I meant to say was he was going to do more for black people or something like that. But, again, kind of interesting, kind of unique. So please make sure that you're following along to see if there will, one, be any change and any good information that come out of this meeting, whether or not they're going to implement some changes, whether they're at least going to go and create an action plan for, hey, this is what will be next, and or as we approach the mid-season elections, whether or not this is just a little bit of fluff coming. But again, you want to make sure that you support your pastors. Make sure they know your political views. Make sure they understand it. Mind you, we're supposed to have a slight little separation between church and state, but we know that's also not true because most of us live our lives according to, our preferred religions. But ultimately, keep watching and seeing what's going on. I'll be watching, Pastor Scott. I'll be praying for you. But again, I'm not sure what set of eyes you're watching and what you've been looking out of the world from, because that's going to be a no-no for me. And again, we'll see what happens. So hopefully you'll take that and we'll go from there. Give us a couple of minutes. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with my first guest on our news segment, Ask a Grown Man, Marcus Abrams. Woo! We'll see you back after this quick break.